Manchester United 2, Liverpool 2. That might be some costly points dropped there for the Reds. What's good, guys, and welcome to another episode of Mini Football Logic. It's Zeno here, and today's episode we're going to be talking about the game between Manchester United and Liverpool. Now, as we know, we're currently witnessing the tightest title race between three teams, probably in the history of the league. And we all know that every single game counts. And looking at the run-in between Man City, Arsenal and Liverpool, each one of these teams have difficult games coming up. Now, some have more difficult games than others, but obviously there's at least one tough game there for each of these three teams to play. And one of the games that Liverpool had to look out for was this game against Manchester United. Now, before this whole season began, Liverpool kind of had the way of Manchester United, smacking them 7-0, 4-0, 4-1, 5-0, 5-1, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's completely smacking these guys silly. But something has changed this season. I don't know if it's because of Klopp's tactical tweaks, where Liverpool are playing now with a lot more emphasis on control. And for some reason this season, when they go and they play against United, suddenly that whole playing style of, the whole control play style that he's tried to implement, all of a sudden disappears. And it's like watching Liverpool in 2017 again. And obviously, as we know with Manchester United, we've learned that under Ten Hag this season especially, they like a crazy game. Look what happened against Chelsea. Obviously, they lost that game. So let me talk about the game before that, where they beat Liverpool. And you think Klopp and the coaching staff at Liverpool would have said, okay, maybe personnel was a problem here. Maybe we need to play some more players that have more emphasis on control. And when I'm talking about control, I'm looking at the midfield, of course. And Curtis Jones should have started. And I thought he might have started because of what he offers in that midfield compared to someone like Szoboszlai or McAllister. Sorry, just Szoboszlai, to be honest. I'm not going to come from McAllister. He's cool. Obviously, Szoboszlai is better than Jones, so are you really going to start Jones over Szoboszlai? Klopp didn't do it. And although Szoboszlai was good, Liverpool's midfield, even though on paper it looks quite balanced, your two offensive eights and then Endo as the defensive midfielder, they still looked kind of off balance against this United side because it just seemed like mainly Szoboszlai, he treats the ball sometimes like a bomb. And he will just get the ball and he will just stop running. He'll stop running. Or like he's pushing the pace. Sometimes it's okay just to slow it down, look for options. And what doesn't help with Szoboszlai is that he doesn't have the vision of maybe even at least a McAllister, where he can see these passes and he can spray them. So when Salah or Nunez or Diaz are making runs ahead of him, he can't quite pick them up properly. And he will just keep running and running. And it's difficult because, obviously he is a talent and a decent player. But some games require some, level of control. But let's look at the bigger picture here. It's not Szoboszlai's fault, okay? Before you guys start thinking that. The reality of Liverpool's performance today against Manchester United is the lack of clinicality. They were not clinical. A lot of chances were missed. Now I'm going to refer to XG here. Liverpool had an XG of 3.5. Man United had an XG of 0.7. That's representative of what kind of happened in the game, in the simple fact that United, as they've normally done this season, have taken their chances, even when they've been difficult to take. Most of the time, games like this anyways. And then Liverpool not being clinical. And this has been the story of Liverpool in a way, since Jota's been injured. And Jota, as we all know, is their most clinical finisher, even more clinical than Salah, who had a complete off day. He was off. He scored the penalty that got them back into the game to 2-2 and therefore got them the point. But boy, he was not on it. Diaz was, Diaz is Diaz. He scored the goal as well. Nunez is Nunez. Now, the problem with Nunez is that he puts in the effort, he works hard, he creates for his teammates. But if it comes down to the main thing, can he be a consistent goal scorer for Liverpool at this level? It's hard to tell, it's hard to confirm. Watching him, it's like, damn, he has it. You watch him and there's something about him that all the world-class players kind of have, that like just that presence and that aura in the sense. But at the same time, you then see this guy trying to finish chances. It's crazy. Like the one he had in the second half where Diaz passed it to him, that should have been a goal. It looked like he got caught in between two minds. Like Szoboszlai was there for the pullback, or he can just score. He didn't do any of that. And that decision making that Nunez lacks at times is what's costing him that upgrade to a level above where you could say his potential allows him to be at potentially. Like, and watching him perform in games like these where he has a host of chances in such a game of importance and seeing him not quite be up to standard is frustrating. I'm sure it's frustrating because I know Liverpool fans have continued to find ways to love him and to appreciate him. But if he continues to not score when it counts and not to perform in terms of taking his chances at the desired level, then soon they will start turning on him. But he's a great character. Nonetheless, of course, this game will be characterised by Liverpool's lack of finishing and Man United continuing to find a way to get through these games without losing. The Brentford game was a more extreme example of that, where they found a way to gain a point and almost won the damn game. The Chelsea game, it almost happened again, where Chelsea were running the show for most of the game, beginning and the end. In the middle, that United turned the game around from 2-0 down to 3-2 up. And only for Chelsea to counter-turn it around against them because obviously Manchester United, they're probably the jammiest team in the league, and Chelsea are probably not that far off. They might be in the shout for that. Speaking of Chelsea, how do you go from beating United to then drawing against Sheffield? Before they beat United, they also drew to Burnley. Anyways, back to the game. United once again found a way. I don't know how Ten Hag's men keep doing this, but I think it's in the fact of the style of play. Man United clearly like it when a team comes at them because it allows them transition with the players that they have. Garnacho is very good on the break. Rashford is great on the break. Højlund was on the periphery this game. You know what I mean? But he was there working hard. Bruno loves to counter-attack. Of course, his passing was a bit off, especially near the end of the game. But that goal, to make it 2-1, to make it 1-1, sorry, was pure quality. Obviously, it's a huge mistake from Kwanzaa. And I can't lie, it makes you question, why was Konate sitting on the bench and Kwanzaa playing? Gomez was also on the bench, but Kwanzaa was playing. No offense to Kwanzaa, he's actually been very good this season regarding his level of experience. He definitely has a huge future ahead of him. It's a costly mistake. We're not going to blame him for the loss. Just like I'm not going to blame Szoboszlai for the loss, but that was costly. Huge. We're not going to put it up there. Like, I've seen some stuff on social media saying it's up there with Gerrard. It's like, come on, it's not up there with the Gerrard slip. That was terminal, pretty much. It's not that. But it is a big mistake. It turned the game around completely. And United were pressuring. And then Kobbie Mainoo, the hyped up 18-year-old, put an absolute curler top bins. Which is insane. This guy's arc this season has been immense. Like, he's a big talent as well. Like, probably the biggest England might have at that age range at the moment. Maybe I have to be very specific because England have a lot of young talents. Like, come on, Jude Bellingham, Cole Palmer's emerged, Phil Foden's been about, Bukayo Saka. I can keep going on and on and on. There's definitely more names that have just not come into my head right now. But those are the ones and examples of those. But mainly at 18, big boy talent. Of course, this game he wasn't quite as good as he was in the FA Cup match, but that goal was huge. And for a second, United fans really believed they were going to be on another robbery against Liverpool again. But obviously, they got fortunate. Elliott came on, he made an impact. Jones came on. And now, obviously, the thing of what I was saying earlier about Jones being a better personnel fit for the opponent would have been true if he actually came on and played well. He didn't play that well. He was a bit too slow. Sometimes when you come on as a substitute and you're trying to adjust to the speed of the game, you take too long to adjust. And all of a sudden the game's just flying by you and you're just like moving in slow motion almost. It happens a lot. That's one of the toughest things coming as a substitute, just trying to keep along with the pace of the game. And it felt like Jones struggled with that, but Elliott did a better job. He won the penalty. Salah put it away. I was a bit surprised. I thought McAllister was going to take it, but obviously Salah is Liverpool's penalty taker, even though it felt like it was McAllister recently, and he tucked it away. And Liverpool will be relieved to go with a draw because, to be honest, at one stage it was not looking good at all. But you got to give credit to Man United. Again, continuing to play poor most of the time, well, in stages and areas of the game, and then turning it around. They're very difficult to play against because you don't know what team you're gonna get. One day they'll just be, playing horrendously, and then in that same game they can turn it around. Especially when they're playing at Old Trafford. So it's really difficult to play against that kind of team that, in a way, kind of like doesn't give you a rhythm in terms of like how they play and how they approach it. Like if you give them a chance, they'll take it. And that's why Klopp was looking so unusually animated on the touchline when Liverpool were missing all those chances in the first half, and then in the second half when they fell behind, because he understood what was happening. He knew that if Liverpool didn't take their chances, this is what exactly transpired would transpire. United will turn the game around because they'll always find a way, even when it doesn't even look possible. And this is something that United can take into the future when they start to properly improve as time goes on. Like this attitude of just staying in the game and then finding a way through, it's a big thing to have as a team. So if they can build it and surround it, that mentality, with better players and a better way of playing, then and establishing that consistent level, then Ten Hag will start to make proper inroads. But for now, they still have to build the team, and that's what they gotta do. But yeah, Liverpool are gonna be quite annoyed. Playing that well in a game of this magnitude and only getting a point, it's tough, especially in the title race this tight. Now, Arsenal have the upper hand. The title is in their hands. If they win all of their games, they win the Premier League. As painful as it sounds for me to say that, it is the truth. So let's see if Arsenal can stay there. Or if Man City can emerge from the shadows, because no one's talking about City. No one is talking about City, which is hilarious because they've won the Premier League, was it 3 or 4 times in a row now? Come on, let's not rule these guys out. I'm sure we're not really ruling them out. The conversation has been about Liverpool and Arsenal because Liverpool drew and now Arsenal have the upper hand, but Man City are still there. And they have the easiest running out of the 3 teams. So, yeah, let's just see what happens. Like I always say, we just got to see what happens. Arsenal still got to go to Spurs and to Old Trafford. If they get through those 2 games, I think we're going to have a huge idea of where they stand with their title hopes. Either they tie it up early or they don't. And they're not going to win the league. Liverpool, it's not, obviously we all know it's not the end for them. They definitely still have a chance of winning the league. They're on the same amount of points as Arsenal. It's just, frustrating that they dominate the game the way they did and they weren't able to win it, even though they really, 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 really should have. But yeah, I think I'm going to end it here. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next episode.
Mini Laje.